Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. How's everyone doing today? I am just pulling up my Facebook page so that I can make sure that everybody is live because we want to make sure this is seen by everyone. So let me just do this real quick and we should be good. So once again, hello, everyone. Welcome to Campus Bound GPS October Tips. Today is day 14. 14 days we've been doing this. This is a service, a community service effort on behalf of Campus Bound GPS, where we help students and parents navigate the college application process. My name is Lisa Marie Eard. I am the Collegiate Success Coach for Campus Bound GPS. And we help you. We provide a tip to you every day in the month of October so that those students and parents who are going through all of it of the college application process, all of it, we are here to help you navigate your way, provide you things in chunks so that you do know that it is manageable, they're bite-sized, and it's possible. You know, there's a lot of folks who go through the college application process and they successfully get into the school that's the best fit for them. And we are here to help you do that. And I am so excited. I am very excited. I have a dear friend of mine who is going to be sharing her tip today. And of course, you know, I always come in with my fellow Hamptonians. So yes, she is an alum of Hampton. A dear friend, Kira Harrell. She is on today because she is a parent, just like me. You know, this is the reason why we do it, because we want to relate to parents and say, hey, you know what, we have this connection. We go through things, and what kind of advice can you share for us? And Kara is going to be here. She's the mom of two young men, two young men. And I'm going to pass the mic so that Kara can tell you all a little bit about herself and why she's here today.
Hello, everyone, and good evening. My name is Kira Harrell, and thank you for that introduction, Lisa. I would say that I am very glad to share a few, tidbits with you as a parent of two sons, 19 and 23. One is in college, one is a recent graduate from Hampton University, and the other one is a student athlete at Lincoln University. And so I'm just here to share 2 cents on a few things that might help you as you prepare your child or children, for the next phase of higher learning. And so I would first start off by saying congratulations. You've come in and you're already probably proactive on things. You're excited for your child's next steps. They've achieved so much in all of the grades that they've accomplished and completed. And so now we embark on the next level, which is college. And the process is a lot more streamlined, especially for a large, area of colleges and universities, even community colleges. It's all streamlined through the internet. And I know you all know this very well, probably have done your share of applications already. And, maybe there's a few left to go, or maybe there's some add-ons. And so my tip is just on how you stay calm through that process. So if I might, with my two, it was very different application process for both of them, because of course they made vastly different choices. I don't know if some have, more than one child, but I have two, and they did not want to go to the same university. So that was a very interesting piece to figure out.
And every child is different.
Right. Every child is different.
Has their own desires and wants, and, every child is different.
Right. Yeah. So mine are 3.5 years apart, which really is like 4 grades So while I was dealing with one, I had to keep my mind on the other one to make sure that I, could help in either case across the whole process. But in any case, so specific to you, the parent, because I've done it. You've put in that you've encouraged your child to fill out their applications, get their letter of references, recommendations. You got the transcripts done. You submitted the Common App, or whatever specific app for the college or university that you have on your list. And so you'll be waiting to hear. And so this is where I'm just sharing some ways to remain calm yet vigilant. The application process is usually pretty straightforward, name, address, all that stuff. But, you want to make sure, I think at the baseline of it, that you and your child are organized. I think that the number one catch, and this, I could tell stories and will share a few tidbits about my sons, was that they sent in the application, and as far as they were concerned, that was it. They just assume, all right, I'm going to get a yes. I'm not worried about it anymore. I put it in before a deadline. And
that's the hard part.
Yeah.
That's the hard part. And students just want to get it off their plate.
Right. And they want to get it off their plate, and they just expect, they'll hear something down the line. But you really want to have a spreadsheet or a list, and you want to track what you sent in. My oldest applied to 6 schools, and they had different deadlines, and they required vastly different things. Some required a letter of recommendations, others required transcripts. And, you have to keep track of, whether or not you got all your contents in. Because if you don't, your application can stay dormant. Your child thinks it's done, and yet, the college didn't receive the transcript or something like that. Now, a lot of the colleges have a online link so that the student can check what, if all of their stuff has been received. They can check to see what the status of their application is. Sometimes that is very effective, but if you don't have all your contents in, your application may sit dormant or fall by wayside. So that's why I say the foundation of all of this, and, it's good skill to have for the student anyway, is to have that organized and know what their timelines were, what things were received, what things were sent. So that's number one. If you have that well in hand and managed, then that will alleviate a lot of, fretting and things like that as you wait.
I think that's a great idea, being organized, having a structure so that you can look at deadlines, content, everything like that.
Right.
Who manages, or in your household, who managed that spreadsheet, so to speak?
The spreadsheet. Okay, so honestly, this spreadsheet I helped my son develop, because again, we go back to, they figure it's sent, dates down the line. I'm not worried about it. I just know it's done. Mm-hmm. But because with my oldest, we applied to 6 different schools, and with my youngest, we applied to fewer number of schools. It just became something that, it worked better to have that in front of you, especially with the transcripts. I mean, the transcripts were, of course, delayed because school wasn't over yet. You send an application at one point, and then your transcripts come in after 4th quarter. So, you definitely don't want to just lax on transcripts, because there's a process. And with my youngest, you had impacts, which these parents will have, COVID. So that delays the timeline. So you really want to keep track of, where all of your contents required for your application are. There's all letter recommendation, all of that stuff. I am sure everyone on here is really proactive and has already gotten in letters of recommendations and things like that. But if you haven't, you're going to, have to follow up and know when you requested or when your student requested, because parents don't request it. When the student requested it, wherever it is in the process, and just kind of keep track of that. But yes, I literally helped my sons develop a list that we kept on the door or kitchen door, and just walk by and go, okay, so that's crossed off, that's done on this date. We don't have to worry about that. I'm sure they'll get it, in this timing or in timing before the deadline. So those kind of things, because if they don't have all the contents, again, and I stress this because there were a couple of schools that my son looked at, but because he wouldn't have all of his stuff in by the deadline, we didn't apply. You just want to have in the back of your mind that where the status of things are. I think that helps to keep you from stressing as much. So now let's talk on the next phase that everything's in, and it's generally for rolling admission, they say it's a couple of months before you hear anything from the school. And then for the hard deadline ones, it's about 6 weeks. So with that in mind, the only thing that I would say impacts how you handle and mitigate that stress and how your student handles and mitigates that stress is the one little thing everybody ignores. Your child's a senior and they're with their friends and everything else. And everybody else is hearing back from schools. And yours hasn't heard anything yet. And they're starting now to get really stressed about where they stand, because others are, maybe have one or two, acceptance letters or email notifications, and you're waiting it through. So again, the application process for a lot of large and middle-sized colleges have a online tracking system. Either they give your student a login credentials for their application status enrollment, or they send something saying that they need an email confirmation for which they ping you back with different things. So you really have to look at those areas to see if there's any changes or updates. Some students do, some students don't. So I found in my experience with my two, they tend not to read emails as much. I'm sure if the university texted them, they would know right away what their status is. But, they could have received a notification from the school via email. They're not looking at that. So if that's your child, then, have the conversation for them to check every so often to see if they've received anything back from the school. This also helps with the financial aid status of things, because schools are hard pressed to email the student through whatever portal they set up the status of what their financial aid is. And the student has to go in and check that. So the university is not going to call them on the phone and go, hey, you have financial aid. FAFSA tends to notify the university directly, and then the university sends out some little thing to communicate to the student, and the student has to go check that.
So it's interesting because back in the day, we got mail.
Yes, we got mail. Yes, we did get mail. Yes. And I think FAFSA and universities have relied quite heavily on online notification and not mail. So, which is, sure, that's effective or efficient across the board I'm sure each university has a large enrollment number. But again, if your student isn't checking the emails, they might not know their standing or their status. And of course, that's very important. It could hit you in the pocket, if you don't know. There are things that students have to sign off and accept too, so just because you were awarded financial aid, you have to go in there and notify someone that you're receiving it and accepting it. Otherwise you won't have it. So, those areas I would say to be more proactive about, and maybe I mean, in our instance, we had it, unfortunately, this year where we had to call because we hadn't received information. And that's the one area that I also wanted to kind of speak to. So you're stressing, that possibly move-in dates are usually around August, unless your child's an athlete. They're usually around August for incoming freshmen. And you haven't heard from the university. Now, for incoming freshmen, you want to know how many schools that have accepted you right away so that you can make that choice. It could be your number one, but your number two came in first, or, your number one came in and then the other ones had a better offer, package. But, so it's something that parents help students manage so that they don't jump right away. But what I really wanted to talk about was the waiting game for some of the other ones as they come closer to date. It really depends. And I did some research, did a little Googling. It depends on the major for some universities. Mm-hmm. So if your child is an aspiring engineer, the department may make some additional considerations depending on how large a volume of incoming students enroll for that major. Business as well. Some of those mainstream majors, they take them in, and as you understand, there are thousands of people applying to this school, and start filtering through the process, and then they look at how many they have incoming for that department. So those things are going on behind the scenes, and what I'm trying to share with you is that sometimes you need to be patient to let the admissions department work through that in order to give you final word. And if at all possible, you can send as many emails as you want, but try not to call them. Because right. you can send all the emails in the world. I'm checking on status. I just want to know, is this, where we are. Don't try not to call them, because that it's not going to effectively make that faster for your students. So,
So that's where you be calm and be vigilant.
Right. That's where you have to be calm and be vigilant. But I think the biggest thing is my sons are the lower percentage, so they weren't pressed. They weren't as pressed as I was. But for some students who are more anxious about knowing whether they got into Harvard or Howard, or if they got into Iowa school or USC, you have to know, first of all, that everything that was required to submit, you submitted. Have confidence in that. Convey to your child student that they've put together a very nice package. I'm sure you reviewed it with them, and they submitted it on time, and that the notification is going to come. And delayed does not mean denied. So, those kind of things you want to share with them and help them buffer some of that stress. It does happen where, a promising young mind student might hear from their third choice first, and they're desperately waiting and hanging on to their first choice, which hasn't notified them yet. And so, there's a lot of anxiety. I've seen it. And so as a parent, you kind of coast them through those waters and let them know that it's still coming. You can send an email if you like, but just wait it out, because delayed is not denied. So, you wait for the official word from the school, and hopefully it'll all work out in your favor, and you can pack them up and send them on their way. Send them on their way.
Yeah.
Thing, and you're on to the next phase of it, which is sending your child there. But I think those things really help. And I would say the last thing that I would say is that these are really skills that they will need even after they leave home. I mean, waiting on applications, maybe if they're applying for scholarships, they got to do it every year or something like that. their coping and planning and preparation and organization skills that they will definitely use. So how you help them with that is very key. So I hope that the 2 cents that I've lent to everyone here prove helpful, and that your nerves don't get frayed as well.
So I like those things. So as a parent,
Yeah,
and you're coming from the parent perspective, and you're saying, as a parent, be supportive of the experience that your child is going through. And you can do that by staying calm and staying vigilant alongside your child, because your child is going through the stress, the anxiety, the craziness, the overwhelm that comes with the college application process. And from what I heard you say is, one, work with your child to be organized, and create a spreadsheet or something that will track all the content, the dates, the important dates and things, so that everybody in the household, you said you put it in on your kitchen door, everybody in the household is aware of what's going on with the college application process, where you're at. And it's something that is family oriented.
yes, I think it definitely is. And yes, I think the visual, the list, just help to remind them in case they start second guessing. No, we've done this. This was submitted on this day. We completed those areas, and it's out and submitted. For admissions. That's another thing that I've seen with some of my son's friends, is that yes, as things get to the wire and others are hearing, oh, I got accepted to Radford, or oh, I got accepted here and I got accepted there. They're going, wait, I know I sent everything in. I did. What's going on? Why has it not happened yet? And you just got to go, look, we did all of this. It's in there. They've got it. You're just waiting, to hear.
And then being that support person for that whole waiting game scenario, because it can just get you unnerved. Everybody's hearing, and you're checking your email, or sometimes the mailbox, and saying,
Right.
where is it at? Everybody else is getting accepted but me. But as a parent, you talked about really staying calm and helping your child stay calm during the process, and just say, hey, it's a process. But I liked what you said about not bringing that stress onto the admissions office.
Yeah.
Because they do see hundreds, thousands of applications that come in, and they're going at it one by one, by two, by two, by three, by three, however their system is. Right. And you're just in a queue to be reviewed and see if you made it into this university.
And that's very, yes, that's very important, the way you put it, Lisa. I would say because parents look at it as a proprietary thing. Well, my kid, it's just like, I'm not talking about the hundreds of other people. I just want to know if my kid got in.
Yeah.
And
that's important.
Right, it is. But to give it a broader understanding that they are dealing with hundreds, and that having them check, that's the other thing, having them check for your child, depending on who it is that you speak to, may not be the final decision. And so you're getting a status that might not be accurate, is not finished for review. And the worst thing, I mean, to put it nicely, the funny thing about those phone calls is that you can put you on hold for a half hour, and you can get the secretary or assistant, excuse me, and they're just going to tell you, we have it. So you did that, and all you know is, yeah, we got all the stuff.
But something with the way that they do it nowadays, and the schools that do have the portals that will say received, 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 that's also a good way to just check and just know that they're seeing. So Eric Black just posted a comment that said, good advice on being patient. It is a patient process. And I think because we have to learn how to exercise patience, exercise calm, and be vigilant, it's stressful.
Yes, it is. And you have such, I mean, each parent, myself included, has high hopes for their child, you know. So you have to continue that encouragement and that enthusiasm, even while you're waiting to hear. But I think that, at least in my example, I just told them, I said, well, it's all in, and you want an official word, as opposed to somebody on the phone going, yeah, I think he's in, and then you find out later on that's not the case. You want to wait for the official word. It'll be fine. I know students don't want to hear that. It'll be fine regardless. But it will. And just wait it out, and they'll get back to you. And fortunately, in our case, my sons heard in timing of the deadlines, both of them. And it was very interesting because my oldest attended Hampton University as a legacy. It's funny. But he received his acceptance letter within the deadline. So I think it was like March 1st, and we got that notification confirmed in time of that. And then my youngest attends Lincoln University, which is a more extended application period. So as opposed to having your applications in February for Hampton, Lincoln extends it out to June 1st. So that was a little different when you're applying to the other schools and then Lincoln, because that's a huge, for parents going through it, that's a huge time gap between deadlines.
Yeah. And the other thing that's with that too is decision day is May 1st, when a lot of students are declaring what school they're going to. Right. And now you have a school whose deadline is after that. Yeah. And, the students, like, they're surrounded by their friends, their classmates, with who's wearing their T-shirts, their sweatshirts, and
exactly
declaring what school they're going to. And you're still there with the waiting game. And it
it was, and I'll say this, in this unique situation, with that deadline of June 1st, he received his, you just mentioned shirts, which brought that to mind. He received this shirt from Lincoln, like toward the end of May, because the deadline is June 1st. But he's a student athlete, so he ran on Lincoln's track team, and he didn't get like full final notice until like mid-June. And meanwhile, we're sitting around there going, yeah, we know we got moving in August. What's going on? Where are we going? Which school we going with? The two that already told him that he's straight, or are we waiting on this one? So that was that's another area where you kind of like gotta, if your child really wants to go there, then you have to be calm and not make rash decisions until you have all the responses. So
so that's a good tip as well. Don't wait until all the responses come back before you, instead of saying, oh no, we haven't heard from anything yet, and make a rash decision.
Right.
So be calm, be vigilant.
Yes. Yeah. So, but yes, I think the vigilant part again is just on the students, because as I've seen, and I'm hoping that the majority of the young people, parents, you're a young person, but my two, you have to go to check the email. Huh? No. And they pull up the phone and whatever right in front of you, or not, so they're not actively checking. So, you want to make sure, because there might be some additional information in there and they've missed it. And, so just kind of encourage them to look at that as well, because yes, colleges might email you once. You don't want that in there 3 weeks. So, so that's, just good habits. That's all.
Great advice. Great tip. A great tip to be calm, remain calm, be vigilant, and the different ways that you can do that. Yeah. So thank you. This has been awesome.
Great. I am glad to participate. I think it's just, something that will help across the board. But I appreciate it, and best of luck to all the graduating seniors going through this right now with the, as a family effort. So, I definitely wish you all great success in it, and just make sure you have all those additional pieces, transcripts, right? Letters of recommendation if they need it. Some are like fast track. They'll need an essay now. That was interesting to figure that out. No essay applications and stuff. So yeah, much success to you.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Kira. Thank you all for watching. This has been great information, wonderful advice, definitely. And we've completed day 14. Yay!
Outstanding. Outstanding.
I am so excited.
Congratulations.
I am so excited. So we're on our way towards 31 days of tips and information. Eric, you are welcome. Eric says thank you. You are definitely welcome. Please share this information. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. So all of the tips from day 1 to day 14 will be on the Campus Bound GPS YouTube channel. So please, we ask that you subscribe so that you can hear this information, share this information, use this information so that you can navigate the college application process with ease and enjoy your journey. So this is Lisa Marie Aird with guest Kira Harrell, signing off for this evening, Campus Bound GPS, where we help students and parents navigate the college application process. Good night, and definitely be safe. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.